Welcome to I Love My HBCU ? The podcast where we express our undeniable love for HBCUs, but where we are also not afraid to address a few tough questions. So, sit back, learn a little, love a lot, and rep your HBCU.
Hello, I love my HBCU ? family. Thank you for joining me on another episode of I Love My HBCU ? This is the way I want to introduce this lovely person. If you are watching, you are being treated to absolute beauty. If you're listening, sure, go ahead and listen. But when you're done, I need you to go to the YouTube and you're going to see Shirah Ray adorned in this gorgeous green outfit. But this is how I really want to introduce Shirah. So Shirah is a daddy's girl, and I am a daddy's girl. She does not know that this is how I'm going to introduce her, by the way. She's shaking her head. She's like, Tosin has lost it. I have no clue what she's going to say, which is fine. I'm okay with that. So Shirah is an expert entrepreneurial stylist, and her boutique is David Lee's. So the reason why I wanted to introduce her that way is because David Lee is named after her father. So Shirah, I am going to be quiet and I'm going to let you bless the audience with your lovely voice and telling us about yourself.
Well, hello everyone. Hey again, Dr. Tosin. So good to be here. So I am Shirah Ray, and I am the owner and founder of David Lee's Boutique. We are a Better Line clothing boutique. We offer powerful pieces. They're curated for the powerful woman with style, with elevated style. And I've been doing this. We had a brick and mortar for about 15 years. And just before COVID, we made the decision to exclusively transition on to online only.
So I'm a fan. Mind you, I have not worn a single piece. But you know how we stock different things on Instagram? Even before we reached out to Shirah and asked her, could she bless us by being one of our guests on the podcast, I had been stalking her beautiful pieces for years. Shirah, and I know people wait till the end to say this, but I actually want people to go online and start looking at some of your pieces. When you call it a Better Line clothing boutique, that is such intentional language. And you dress the power woman, is what I'm going to call it, right? And power is in your mind. Power is how you see yourself. And because of that, I want you to give people where they can find Shirah Ray's David Lee's boutique, because I want people to start envisioning themselves in your clothes.
Sure, they can go to David Lee's with an S, BTQ.com. That's our website,
Lovely.
davidleesbtq.com.
And because I did not stalk the website, I'm telling on myself. I did not stalk the website. I stalked her Instagram. What is your Instagram handle?
David Lee's BTQ.
Lovely, lovely. Okay, so now I can get to I love my HBCU ? No, but I promise you, especially for my power fashionistas out there, you'll understand my excitement when you go to her Instagram page, and you'll understand my excitement when you go to the website. You'll understand why Tosin is raving. Oh. And before we hit record, I asked her, hold on, how tall are you? She's one of my shorter sisters. But she kindly told me, though, because I'm 5'10", she kindly told me that it is tall girl friendly. So for my tall girls like myself who are always looking for things that suit us, she's got us covered. So thank you, Shirah.
You're welcome.
Shirah, you are a proud alum of Southern University of New Orleans, and you are also from New Orleans, so she didn't go too far away from home to go to college. And you studied business administration. Do you mind sharing with us what, and you've gone into it, you've gone into business. You're one of the lucky ones that knew what you wanted to do is what it sounds like and went directly into it. How did that grab your heart? Why how did you know this is the major or this is the focus for me? Tell us the story behind that.
Sure. For me, entrepreneurship was really innate. It was something that I feel like it was just inside of me from a young girl. The other thing is I wanted to be famous. And then when that didn't happen, I was like, okay, for sure, I'm going to be an entrepreneur.
Nice, nice, nice.
But no, I knew very early on that I wanted to go into entrepreneurship, and I've always enjoyed style and fashion at an early age. You know, I would get into it with my mother, not literally, but like, no, I don't want to wear it. No, I want to wear it because I felt like I knew what was in
Hmm.
and what what looked good on me and what was best for my frame at the time. And so after I graduated, towards about the last semester or two is where I really said, you know what, it's going to be a boutique.
Hmm.
And I had some really impressionable professors that they left a lasting impression, and many of them, two for sure, followed, just kept in touch with me to help along the way. And so I opened my first brick and mortar location about a year after I graduated.
Wow.
And 10 years afterwards, we opened a second location. And then we transitioned to online.
Is am I accurate then in saying that you've never had what they call a traditional job working for somebody else?
So, cause not really, because because when I was in college, it was Southern University at New Orleans. It is more for non-traditional students,
Okay.
and at the time that we didn't even have dorms on the campus, so all the students could either commuted in or used a very close school to do
Hmm.
housing.
Hmm.
They do have dorms on campus now, but during that time, I was working actually in the casino as a beverage server, right? While I was in college, and it was there. I made a good money, and then I saved up my money when I opened the store, my boutique. I didn't get any loans. My mother, she helped invest. I had what I had, and I was able to get the doors open.
I
Yeah.
love it. I love that story for several reasons, right? So we got to hear in the introduction that it's named after your dad.
Mhm.
And then we get to hear in your intro setup of how this whole business came to be that mom was a major investor.
Mhm.
I also love in listening to this that Shira, you just went for it. You literally just went for it. And so yes, this podcast brings on HBCU now. That's current students, HBCU made, alumni. But if you ask me who am I really doing this podcast for, it's always for the students. It's at the back of my heart. It's literally, I hope the students are soaking up every bit that they can, especially from the alumni that come on. So Shira, it's alumni like you that make this entire podcast successful. And the I write gems down. One of the gems that I've heard you say that I hope every student is listening to is just go for it. Just go for it. And you know yourselves, I can't see them. I'm in my studio, so of course I cannot see them, but I see them in my mind's eyes. So many students that I get to speak to every single day who question themselves and allow the doubt to quiet down, just going for it. I want to believe that, Shira, you had some doubt. What allowed you to turn the volume down on the doubt and turn the volume up on just going for it?
There were certainly some doubts. There weren't any better line luxury like boutiques here, really. So it wasn't a place where, even if there weren't any storefronts or boutique stores, there just weren't a lot of places where women of color could walk in and feel comfortable or feel like that's where they belong and should be shopping. So that was a thought, doubt there in itself, just knowing that this really wasn't a space for us at the time. There really wasn't much of a space for us.
Yeah.
So but honestly, I have a really, really strong support system. And I naturally am a person where when I set my mind to something, I'm going to do everything that I can to achieve it.
Okay.
That's not always a good thing.
We share that. Go ahead.
But and so with with the support of my family, and just my natural makeup, I was able to quiet down those thoughts. Much prayer in the process, and thankfully I've been blessed to, share my passion for fashion. I know it's cliche, but it's exactly what I'm doing, and I get to serve women all over the world now, you know, and help them invest in themselves through their wardrobe.
Thank you. Thank you for that. I hope they were taking notes. I was taking notes. I have something. You're going to bless our students with one more thing before this recording is over. I'm not telling you what it is yet, and I'm not asking you yet. She's like, "Dear God, my soror." Oh, by the way, guys, we also share that in common. Those who've been on the episode know I'm an AKA. Can you tell? Can you tell? Tosin, stop it. Shirah,
Yes.
we are at that time where I get to bless you with the rapid fire segment. You don't know what the questions are going to be, but 67 seconds are going to go on the clock, and you're going to answer as quickly as possible, as many as possible questions. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
She's like, "Dear God, she didn't warn me this was going to happen." Of course I didn't. Of course not. Okay, first question. Shirah, describe your HBCU experience in one word.
Amazing.
Amazing. There was so much thought going on behind that before she said amazing.
And I really wanted to pull something else out, but you gave me one word, but it was amazing.
Amazing. I'll take it. If your time, and I know it was non-traditional at the time, but if your time in college was a song, what song would it be?
Tosin, oh my God. It would be something with happy, but if my thought said "Oh Happy Day," but then I don't know how all of that goes. Yeah, but
we're gonna go with "Oh Happy Day." We're gonna go with "Oh Happy Day."
Joyful.
Joyful.
Yes,
Joyful we are. Okay, joyful. Okay. Ooh. I think I know the answer. She's Shirah. On a scale of 1 to 10, how good of a student were you?
10.
10. See, I knew it.
In my
10.
mind. Oh goodness.
We're gonna take it. 10 in her mind.
Yes,
We're gonna take 10 in her mind. I was just told that my time is up, but I'm going to take the luxury, especially since you referenced them earlier on. I'm going to take the luxury of asking you one more question.
Yes.
Shout out your favorite professor or professors, and what did they teach?
I was thinking about this before this recording.
Wow.
And I said I was gonna go and look back at the name. There was in finance.
Yes.
She was a finance professor, and she was Asian.
Okay.
And I'm telling you, this professor helped me so much, all the way to like stocks and just really better understanding money management, and then what I might need to open my store. So for sure she was certainly one of my faves. And then there was another math teacher. It's the numbers thing, I guess. Dr. Professor Johnson, and she was also very impressionable.
So let me say this, Shira. If somebody had asked me that question, I'm not kidding. The way in which you answered it is exactly the way I would have answered it. And here's the only part that's exactly. So typically at the end of this question, I want to shout out their name. Tosin would have had to describe what the person taught and what the person looked like without giving the name. I'm so serious. I'm still going to shout out the finance Asian professor that taught Shira, because that's what Shira gave me. Shira, don't feel bad. I would have done the exact same thing. I'm being very honest with you.
I was
And then
to
dig up and look.
I really was. But I didn't know what questions you were going to ask me either. I should have
That's
been more
good.
prepared.
No, you're fine. You're perfectly fine. But wherever she is, thank you. And Dr. Johnson, who taught math, thank you as well.
It's been a long time, too. It's been a long time since I've been in school.
Shira, did you just hear what I said? If I were to answer the question, I would have to describe the persons too. We don't all remember names, but they still left an impression on you.
For sure.
And that's all that matters. And I'd rather that honest answer as opposed to making something else up. So don't defend not knowing, because I would be you. Literally, I would be you. I'm being so honest. All right. So we know you're from New Orleans. We know you have, I'm going to say you've stayed home because your business is also in New Orleans. But how did you select that particular HBCU? We know New Orleans has different HBCUs that you could have selected. Why is it Southern University of New Orleans that won your heart for you to attend?
At that juncture in my life, I really needed a place that was going to really cultivate, nurture where I was in my life. At the time, I had my daughter, and so I was a non-traditional student at the time. And so Southern at New Orleans, in New Orleans, SUNO is what we
SUNO,
say.
yes.
That was the place where they were going to nurture. They were gonna make sure that I had what I needed to get through school. The tools, the resources, the relationships. So that's how I got there.
So Shira, you mentioned being a non-traditional student when you went. We actually have a non-traditional student, current non-traditional student, as a guest that will premiere sometime soon. I did not do a good job of asking this question of that person, but I'm glad I remembered now to ask you. Okay. Would you do it any different? And this is what's behind my question. As you know, we're in a day and age where traditionally you graduate, you that's the next step. I don't even think we think about it. We just go immediately. And Chris, our outreach manager, shared with the world not too long ago that if she had to do this, when she did it, her going immediately was actually not the best route for her. That she eventually became a non-traditional student, and as a non-traditional student, became a better student at the time. So that's what's behind me asking this question, because going directly from high school to college is actually not the answer for everybody. So if you had to do it all over again, when you look back, would you do it any different?
I don't think so. I did start college at a very early age, and I really wasn't ready. I started at 17 because I was an early high school graduate.
Yeah.
And so I entered into college very early. And because I wasn't ready, I started at a traditional college, at a traditional university. And because I wasn't ready, I needed to kind of just get my bearings, get myself together. And that's, so I mean, I knew I was going to earn my degree. I knew I wanted to earn my degree. But I really just was not ready when I first started. There was just so much out there.
Absolutely.
And, honestly, I would say I lacked discipline And that's why discipline is so important to me today and right now.
So I love the way you addressed that. I know, and Lord have mercy, every single June, college decision day, everyone is so proud to say where they're going. And I think that's a beautiful thing. I'm not knocking it by any stretch of the imagination. But I truly hope that enough people get to hear what Shirah just said. Being ready, not knocking yourself for not being ready at the time. Because I do think there is that pressure, that comparative pressure of if I'm not ready right now, what does that say about me? And so we hurl ourselves into the process and we end up not doing very well through the process because of it. So, again, I do hope enough people, enough students especially, hear exactly what Shirah just said. Not being ready is okay. And if you have to come back, that's okay too, as opposed to doing it badly the first
Right.
go around. Okay,
Correct.
I appreciate you for that. So I told you were going to bless our students with you're going to bless them with something. So I am my 9 to 5 hat is what I call it. I am a professor and administrator at Morgan State University. That's what Tosin does on most days of the week. I love my students, even the ones that cannot stand me. That's perfectly okay. And a good number of my female students who haven't found their style yet are always asking me, Dr. Tosin, how did you find your style? I don't have an answer. That's for Shirah. So So Shirah, and Shirah, if you need to take a moment, I understand that because again, you did not know any of the questions. She's like, listen, I've got this. I'm the expert entrepreneurial stylist. I've got this. Shirah, what couple of tips would you give to our students with regards to either finding their style, owning their style, all of that stuff? What advice would you give them? And if at least one of them could be more practical and not just theoretical, i.e., something they can actually do, that's the gift you're giving us, including myself.
The first tip I'd like to share is to make sure you understand what you're comfortable in. You can't own your style if you're not comfortable in it. So that's going to be the first tip to helping with owning your style and identifying your style. I mean, something can be cute all day, every day, but if you're not comfortable in it, then it's going to show. It's going to show in the way that you move, the motion, the pulling, the tugging. So I think that's my number one tip to owning your style. A second tip I would say, um, you can start with colors. You can start with colors. You can curate your closet starting with your favorite colors and what colors look well against your complexion and your skin tone. And you'd be surprised how much progress you'll make with just, owning your style and developing your style. And
So I'm
your body,
understanding.
understanding your frame, understanding your silhouette, understanding what works for your height. If you're curvy on the bottom, understanding what works for that. If you're, broad shouldered like myself, understanding what works for that. So yes, I hope those were good tips.
They were perfect. They were perfect. And I especially love number one. I tease, it's not really teasing. I kind of call them out every now and then. When I see some of you said it will detract you from the pulling and the tugging. So number one, even if they don't take anything else, that number one tip was golden. Know what you are comfortable in, because then you won't have to be doing the pulling and the tugging. Shirah, this is a true story. And anyone that's under 16 can cover their ears, or under 18 can cover their ears. I was on campus one day, just walking along campus, and there was a young lady who was, I'm going to give you two. there was a young lady who was walking across campus. So I love heels. I'm 5'10", but you will catch Tosin. They know, my students who are listening are like, yes, she's in 6-inch heels on most days. And that's true. I love heels, but I can walk in the heels.
Mm-hmm.
I saw this young lady, and Lord, I see, if we were in person, I'd get up and show you how she was walking because I am that person. And I wanted to go to her and say, sweetheart, there's no way this is comfortable. Why don't you just. Anyway, so that's one. The second one that I saw,
Wait.
my eyes got. No, for real. No, seriously. Seriously. The second one that I saw, my eyes almost got blinded. This young lady was in the tiniest of mini skirts, and she was just walking. You don't know what's coming. You don't. She was just walking, and she goes to bend to pick something up. Remember how you said tip number one, know what you're comfortable in. Tip number three, know your body. Know your body. I was treated to a vajayjay show, and I was like, this is not, yes. I literally saw her entire vajayjay as she bent down to pick something up. And on that day, she needed Shirah, not Tosin, because Tosin just gasped. Shirah would have gone to her in that elegant way and guided her on an expert tip on what she might want to consider wearing the next time around. So those two examples, your tips are absolutely perfect with regards to how one should actually know and own their style. Okay, Shira.
It's so difficult too with, pop culture, or, rap culture, and what they're showing to be like appropriate or acceptable. And I think sometimes, especially the younger generation, they want to live out that look in their day to day. They're not understanding how to separate entertainment from reality.
I don't think you could have said that any better, because the persons that they are looking at, if we saw them every single day, chances are that is not what they're wearing. Because it doesn't look comfortable that I might get a breeze up my skirt every 2 seconds that I take a step. You know, that doesn't sound comfortable.
No.
And isn't comfortability very linked to confidence? If you're comfortable in what you're wearing, chances are you show up a lot more confidently on a day to
Absolutely.
day.
Absolutely.
I haven't read it, and forgive me for that because I just found out about it. Are any of these covered in your ebook?
Yes.
Okay, tell us about the ebook.
The ebook, Style Etiquette. Yes. It does cover, it does. It does cover, even proper undergarments that seem to, at one point it's like the end thing because of skims and everything, but then in another breath, they're still walking out of the house without it. And I'm just, that's something that I, in the ebook, I made it very clear to share that undergarments are not limited to body frame. Okay? You can be on a smaller frame and still need shapewear. Shapewear is going to help with firmness, to keep you firm, to keep you smooth. I know they want to jiggle, but that's not cute. Sorry.
No, don't apologize. Go ahead.
So, but no, we uncover so much in the ebook, and I'd love to share a copy of that ebook with you. And if you have any students or whatever that would like a copy, please let me know. You can share it with them. It's because I want to educate women on how to be their best self, not just, I mean, because your style, the way you show up, the way you look, that goes a long way. I mean, you speak without saying a word, just in your presence and by the way that you look. So, um,
Oh
There's
my
some really
gosh.
nice gems in that ebook.
Shira, and if you've already done this, just roll your eyes at me. I'm giving you permission as my soror to roll your eyes at me like Tosin, you should
Never.
know that. I gave you permission. It's fine.
Never.
Um, if you have you A, done it? If you haven't, have you thought of doing like an HBCU tour for doing an HBCU tour for Black queens or HBCU queens? Let me not say Black, that's not nice because we are diverse at a lot of our
Oh
HBCUs
yeah, for
now.
sure.
But HBCU queens, HBCU SGA queens,
Love it.
to give these tidbits to, because, and I don't say this in a bad way, you know what you know, you don't know what you don't know.
That's right.
And my experience of my observation is that I don't always see this as something that they pay as close attention to. Somebody like you walking into a room and giving them some of these tidbits as a workshop, even if you haven't thought about it, Shira, we need to work on making it happen.
You just lit a fire in me. You just lit a fire in me. I'm still, listen, I mean, if I'm being transparent once again, I've been praying and asking God to show me how to serve Him by serving others. Okay. And this is something that we need as Black and brown women. And we have to get them at when they're young, when they're still okay, when they're still receptive, when they don't feel like they just know it all. Because
Yes,
when you get at a
yes.
certain age, you don't care. You feel like I know what I know, and you're not going to tell me anything, even when you're clearly wrong.
Listen, I was just about to say, even when clearly you don't know, but okay.
So thank you for lighting that fire in me.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I
Thank
love
you,
it.
thank you, thank you. I can't wait to talk more about it and let you know how it comes together. But I'd love to talk with you about it, even.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
so I'm the one of the reasons why I'm excited. I'm excited about several things about this episode and about Shira. But one of the things that I'm excited about is Shira, the biggest gift I think you can give somebody is doing for themselves. I know for a fact you walk into spaces and people tell you, oh my gosh, is that your dog? I'm a dog person, and everybody on the podcast knows this. So, what's your dog's name?
Tussie.
Tussie, bark away. Tussie, that means you're saying, Mom, I hear you and I agree with what you're saying, Mom. That's what that means. Don't apologize. Tussie, give Tussie a hug for me later on. I'm so serious. But I know, Shira, you've walked into rooms. I know this without ever having been there in the rooms with you. And women have looked at you and said, damn, I wish I could. And what the idea that I just brought up for me enables people to be the one in the room, and it's not I wish I could, it's I know I am, you know? So that we're going to work on this. We're going to work on this. It's going to happen. I absolutely love it. Toastin, you're supposed to be asking her a bunch of HBCU questions, and you're just anyway. Okay. So a couple more. I do want to know this.
I'm enjoying it.
I love it. Listen, our audience probably just listens and like, here she goes again. And you know what? As long as you keep tuning in, I don't care if you say, here she goes again. It is perfectly okay. So, Shira, finish this sentence for me. Because of my experience or my time at my HBCU, I will not.
I will not.
Tussie's fine. Tussie's fine.
Because of my experience, I will not. I don't know how to say this without. I will not encourage HBCU first. That's always going to be the first option.
HBCU first.
Yes,
I
I
will
will
not.
not. No double negative. I don't know how to say this. It's always gonna be my go-to. Like, go to an HBCU. Like, if I mean, all the way down to affordability.
That part, all of that, all of
Yeah.
that.
Mm-hmm.
So I was an English major, so I can't help myself. So I'm going to revise your sentence for you. Can
Please
I?
do.
Can I? So
Please.
this is what I'll revise it to. I
Okay,
will
let's.
never stop encouraging HBCU first.
Thank you.
Of course I was going to help you out. Of course I was going to help you
You're
out.
a wordsmith, right?
I will never stop encouraging HBCU first.
Perfect.
And I love the
exactly what I
reasons you
wanted to
gave.
say.
It is. It's what you said. Remember that 10 student in your head?
Yes.
It's exactly what you meant to
Yes.
say.
That part.
Tosin, naughty. Stop it. Stop it.
Oh, good. Love it.
Okay, so gosh, I can't believe we're almost over. This has
Are
been so much
we?
fun. This has been
Oh.
so much fun for me. So you have to be working, and we're going to be working on some exciting things together. But what have I not covered? What have I not given an opportunity for you to bless the audience with before we say goodbye?
So we have our upcoming collection. It's going to be dropping in the spring. So it'll drop about February is our
Okay.
expected launch date.
Okay.
And it's going to be really soft but yet vibrant colors for the professional woman that loves to be extra jazzy, that
Ooh.
understands style and does not
Ooh.
compromise when it comes to style.
Ooh. Okay. Listen, I listened to you speak, and so for those who know, they know that we have a summit that we are launching in April, and I want to be able to say, as I step onto that stage, that I have a David Lee piece on, thanks to Shirah Ray.
I'm gonna make
Shirah,
sure that happens.
it's going to happen. We're
It's
going to
going to
make
happen.
sure it happens. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
Mhm.
Shirah, thank you. Thank you for an amazing episode. The very last question I have for you is in one word or
Oh,
short phrase.
these
One
words.
word. She's like, these and these. Did you see her roll her eyes? Mind you, I gave her permission to roll her eyes at me. But the minute I said, she's like, here she goes again with these one words. She's like, yo, one word. In one word or short phrase,
Okay.
leave the audience with why you love HBCUs.
I love HBCUs because there is no other place like it, okay? There is no other place like an HBCU. They're going to give you the support. I know it's supposed to be short. They're going to nurture you. There's a culture there that can't be, that you can't deny. And they're going to ensure you are at your very best. If you can't make it at an HBCU, I don't know what to say.
That
They're
listen.
going to give you that extra love you need. They're going to give you that extra attention if you need it, and you're not always going to, most times you don't get that at other institutions, unfortunately.
Shirah, I'll take it. I appreciate you. If Tootsie come into the frame, I will be excited to see your dog because listen, I'm a dog person. So I'm not taking out not a single bark from this episode. Not taking a single bark out of it. But thank you. And thank you to all of, I hope, listen, if you tuned in and you watched us, you saw how much love we have on this episode of I Love My HBCU ? I thank everyone who has tuned in, who has watched and listened to this amazing alum of SUNO, Southern University of New Orleans, Shirah Ray, the brains, the beauty behind David Lee's boutique in New Orleans and everywhere that you can get your fingers onto a keyboard. Thank you for listening. I hope I've earned the pleasure of you subscribing to I Love My HBCU question mark. And how could you not like this episode after listening to Shirah Ray? Yours in HBCU love. We'll see you next episode. And Shirah, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You've been listening to I Love My HBCU question mark. Let's keep the conversation going as we share our stories and encourage more practical support of HBCUs, whilst of course holding each other accountable. Don't forget to follow and subscribe for the latest episodes. Until next time, love and lift your HBCU.